Welcome to Textile Printing Lectures with Dr. Muhammad Ali. This is a dedicated educational resource for students, educators, and professionals in textile design and engineering. This channel offers a complete series of in-depth lectures originally delivered to undergraduate students, and it covers the fundamental and advanced methods of textile printing. Each video is designed to explain complex processes clearly, combining technical detail with visual examples. Whether you are a student revising for your exams, a designer exploring print technologies, or someone passionate about textiles in general, these lectures are expected to help you build a solid foundation in this fascinating field. If you are a textile professional or a textile student currently, you probably have already or you will study one or more courses related to textile dyeing. Such a course is highly relevant to textile printing, particularly when it comes to understanding colorant-substrate interactions. This is because printing is essentially localized dyeing. Any concepts acquired in a course related to pre-treatment of textiles are likely to be very useful in understanding the fabric properties to be achieved prior to printing. So any relevant courses in the field of pre-treatment of textiles are also likely to be very helpful to you. To a lesser extent, color science and textile chemistry related courses could also be useful if you have studied these before. There is a decent amount of reference material already available on textile printing and related aspects. It is available in the form of books, journal articles, blogs, videos, etc. However, if you are an undergraduate student, you can consider the books listed here as your first reference. At the top, we have the book by Leslie Miles, titled as Textile Printing, and this is arguably the most convenient, easy to follow, and comprehensive book on textile printing. It is important to note that this book is a bit old now and some of the content in it is somewhat outdated. For the growing field of digital printing, the book by HUG, titled as Digital Printing of Textiles, is a good starting point reference. If you wish to study the technology of printing very broadly, and particularly if you wish to study textile printing in relation to other types of printing, then the Handbook of Print Media by Helmut Kifan is an ultimate guide. Throughout this lecture series, I have used a number of images and videos, etc., and technical information as well. And I would like to collectively acknowledge all the resources that I have referred to while preparing these lectures. So let's now see how this lecture series will be delivered. So in the first bit, that's the introductory lecture series, we will be talking about printing in general and what sort of factors we need to consider when we are printing on a substrate. I will briefly touch printing on non-textile substrates as well, as it provides useful insight into understanding the printing process. And then of course we will move towards our actual target, which is textile printing. So the initial lectures will cover textile printing at a very basic level, so it will just be more or less an overview. We will talk about what sort of fabric characteristics are we looking for if we want to print a fabric, and we will see briefly how to prepare a fabric for printing. In the second part or the second series of lectures in this program, we will talk about fabric preparation for printing in detail. So those lectures will cover in depth the important preparatory processes in the context of printing. And of course, we will be talking about different principles and the machinery that is used. And then we will move towards textile printing in like more actual sense. So that is when we will start talking about methods of textile printing. And we will start with very old but still widely used methods such as block printing. And we will briefly cover the now obsolete method of roller printing. Again, the point to talk about roller printing will be to give you a basis or an insight that will enable you to compare different printing processes and understand the more widely used processes that are more common now. And that is when we will compare our understanding of block and roller printing with the modern day processes which are called screen printing in general and inkjet printing as well. However, it is important to note that there are dedicated lectures on screen printing and inkjet printing separately. Subsequently, when we will delve deeper into the screen printing processes, we will first cover flat screen printing. And there are different formats of the machines that are used for this purpose, which we will cover in this lecture series. We will talk about process control and of course quality control, etc. We will then talk about and study rotary screen printing in detail. And again here we will cover different machine types and of course process control on rotary printing and the quality control aspects as well. We will then talk about how designs and screens are prepared for screen printing. So in this series of lectures, we will be talking about different types of designs, how we prepare flat screens and rotary screens for what we call engraving, and then how different designs are engraved on the actual screens. In a separate series of lectures, we will understand screen printing inks as well. So in this lecture series, we will talk about the formulation of screen printing inks, the different ingredients that are used, such as binders, thickeners, and auxiliaries, what their roles are, and how they affect the characteristics of the print paste. So after covering screen printing in detail and all the related aspects, such as preparation of screens and screen printing inks, we will move to talk about inkjet printing process, a process which has seen massive improvements in the last 2 decades, and that is why it is being very widely used now and very widely adopted now all over the world. So we will again go back to pre-treatment of fabrics for inkjet printings. And although this will be covered in the relevant lectures in detail, but I would briefly mention here that pre-treatment of fabric for inkjet printing is in a way completely different from pre-treatment of fabric for screen printing processes. And similarly, the printing inks for inkjet printing have completely different characteristics from the printing inks that are used for screen printing. The machine is substantially different, and the factors which affect the print quality in inkjet printing are also completely different from screen printing processes. And this is all that we will cover in this series of lectures on inkjet printing. We will then talk about what is known as different styles of printing, and that involves the direct and indirect printing methods. And within indirect printing methods, we will talk about discharge and resist styles of printing. And lastly, our last topic in this course will be fixation of prints. So we will talk about different fixation processes with and without the use of steam and different types of fixation machines. Thank you for listening to this introductory lecture, and I hope that you are looking forward to enjoying the whole series as you learn about textile printing.